Today on the Hangout, Norman Powell breaks out his trampoline. Raps jump up 3-2 on the Bucks. We got to talk about what's changed in this Celtics-Bulls series. And bye-bye, Blazers. Warriors in 4. Time for Hangout. What's up, Canada? My name is Akil Augustine, and this is your home for Talking Hoops. The Hangout coming to you from 307 Lakeshore, our backup studio. Right now, they're cleaning out the ACC. Lots has gone on for Toronto. Maple Leafs out, Raps still in, of course. Baseball, football, all sorts of stuff. But the most important thing for all of us, Raptors brand basketball. We have the producer of the Raptors broadcast, Dan Gladman, joining us. Thank you so much for coming.
Happy to be here on my one day off of the playoffs. Great.
No days
excited.
off. No days off.
There is no tomorrow.
Big shouts out to the homie who actually, on his day off, came out to support Nabil Karim. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to call you OVO Nabil today. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool.
He goes, that's cool.
It's
but
so,
no.
disrespectful
like,
to OVO,
no.
but yeah, okay.
All right, and our friend of the family, filmmaker and basketball aficionado, Evan Reese. What up, baby?
How are you?
I'm good. All right. Let's jump into it. The Toronto Raptors win Game 5, 108-93. Epic fashion, completely uncharacteristic of the other games we saw in this series. First and foremost, are we surprised at how big of a role Norman Powell is playing in the resurgence of the Toronto Raptors? I will start with you, Nabil Karim.
I don't think we should be. We saw it against Indy last year. He came in, he definitely changed that series. I don't want to put too much on Norman and say he's completely changed everything, but he's been a big part. I think I was kind of surprised that he didn't play. Barely played those.
Fans were.
Yeah.
I think he had a good stretch down at the end of the year when Kyle was out. He's a guy who's athletic. Maybe he's a little small for this lineup, and we were worried about the length of the Bucks, but hey, the guy can score, he can play make, he can do a lot of different things for the Raptors.
Dan, you're biting your tongue over there. This is the Hangout.
I'm just waiting for my man to build finish. It's all
I want to hear what you think.
I got my thoughts. I'm going to disagree with him.
Okay.
I'm very surprised.
That Norm is
that Norm had so much impact not so much in Game 4, but certainly in Game 5.
We started.
Well,
He was good in Game 4
he's
too.
He was fine, but they didn't win Game 4 because of Norman Powell.
No, that is true.
They won Game 5 because this guy came out like a house on fire. We know he's capable of things. We know he's a really good player, but he dominated Game 5 with the dunks, with defense, and he's hit 7 straight three-pointers.
That's crazy.
If you go back to Game 4, he's 7 of 7. Am I surprised that he is a high-caliber player? No. Am I surprised that he dominated a Game 5 in the playoffs? Last year, he didn't dominate. He had moments in the playoffs.
That's fair. He didn't dominate.
But yesterday, Game 5, absolutely dominated the game.
Evan, what is he doing? What's changed with him? I want your thoughts. I have my own.
Honestly, he got the start from Dwayne Casey. For him, he's only in his second year. Confidence, this guy's going. Like, you can see it. He had a swag yesterday. He doesn't have when he comes off the bench. He was firing. Like, the dunks, the getting loud, talking to the crowd, hitting threes, also assisting.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. As long as he frees the shackles that Casey has put on him.
I got to agree, not so much about the shackles, but about coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Don't like him as much as a reserve. As a starter, he is so consistent. He averaged 14 points a game throughout the season as a starter. I think that's where he's best off because of the confidence.
I think for me,
He's a stud.
I just want to throw my 2 cents in here. I know I'm the host of the show, but let me just say one thing quickly. I think there's a big difference between Norman Powell, Patrick Patterson, and DeMar Carroll. Pat's not looking to shoot, and I think that's making him easy to solve. DeMar,
He's not looking to shoot?
I don't think
Pat just stands in the corner. That's all he does is shoot in the
But
corner.
I'm not sure he's being aggressive with his shot.
Right.
DeMar, if you chase him off the line, there's very little he can do once he starts dribble driving. I think Norm is a guy who can shoot the ball, and if you chase him off the line, he's going to punish you with the rim, and I think that's forcing them to be more attentive, and that's causing a scrambling defense, and what we saw was ball movement last night, and that was amazing. All right, moving on. We got to talk about.
He gets the first word and the last
Just
word.
gonna add to that.
you guys
He actually
hear-
made a good point. I was going to be like, yeah, the ball movement's been key. I was working with Nick
Yeah, go,
Stauskas. He's
keep
been
going,
talking
keep going.
about that. And he said Milwaukee's defense, they're scrambling because Norm makes all these decisions. They got to respect that 3 now. But you saw a couple times the pump fake drives into the lane, kicks it out. And that's when Milwaukee's not good.
Man, Nabil, you really know what you're
Don't
talking
cut me
about.
off next time then.
You know what? My bad. I'm going to take a page
Wow,
from Dan.
When I point at you,
out.
just to say, yeah, Nabil, support me.
Aren't we all
OVO
just in
Nabil in
agreement?
the house.
Thank you.
We are
Thank
way
you.
too.
And I would say one word for Norm is disruptive to the Bucks defense. He changes it.
Absolutely. Another thing that happened in Game 5 was a very balanced approach from the Toronto Raptors starters. You saw it spread out the score. Every starter was in double digits. But is that really the case to solve this group, or does it really fall on the shoulders of what you're getting from your two superstars, Lowry and DeRozan? I'll start with you, Evan.
It was great to see some fluid ball movement for once. It wasn't ISO ball the entire time. I was astounded. I'm not sure how much Casey had to do with it, apart from the guys just moving the ball, and
28 assists on the night.
it was incredible.
On Raptor brand basketball.
It
very
was
much so.
lunacy. I was watching it, and my head was spinning like a top, saying, "Wow, this team is playing together." I think also JV coming off the bench was very nice. It gave them a nice punch that they usually don't have with him, at the start of the games, and it wasn't just ISO ball. So I thought it was great. Kyle Lowry having 10 assists was fantastic.
Is this a model that can move forward? Because we know the Raptors brand basketball is Kyle DeRozan, and you get what you get from everyone else.
If you got Ibaka, you got Carroll going, you had Powell going. They combined for 25 points in that first quarter, those three guys.
Yeah.
It wasn't DeMar, it wasn't Kyle. I don't think Kyle scored in that first quarter. He was in foul trouble. If they get those three guys going plus DeMar and Kyle, that's the team right there. That's the team Messiah probably envisioned. Ibaka's got to keep going this whole time. Carroll had 7 points in that first quarter. That was bonus. I mean, that was probably his best first half of
When Carroll's scoring, they're almost unbeatable. Here's the key: when the Raptors are hitting their shots, it sets up their defense. Milwaukee has a very weak half-court offense. They really get their points and kill you with their transition game. But if the Raptors shoot 57, 58%, Milwaukee really can't get out and run, and they're going to have a problem scoring. To answer your original question
Thank you.
about DeRozan and Lowry,
Yep.
why should they have to carry the burden every
I'm going
single
off of the
game?
Raptors.
can't win
I'm
that
going
way.
off of what they've
They
done.
can't win
They
that
should
way.
not.
making
They
this
should
up.
not have to score 50 points a night. Yeah, they can play great.
But that's what they've
and
done, is
They,
that
and they
not-
combine for assists. But if Powell's going to score, if JV's scoring off the bench, if Joseph is hitting a shot here and there, they shouldn't have to score 50.
I was
every
just
single
asking, is
night.
that a recipe for consistency? Because it's not what we've seen on a night-to-night basis with this group. Now, another thing we haven't seen on a night-to-night basis that Evan Reese touched on was the fact that JV came off the bench and had a huge role for this team moving forward. Is that something you'd like to see in the future? Is that like
Like
as
a
you
next
plan
year thing?
forward? Yeah, as you plan forward for JV to be a constant contributor for this team, is that an example of how he can do that, Nabil?
I don't think you can go forward with JV next year being coming off the bench entirely. I think he makes a lot of money. He's a guy. You look at him like you saw in that first half when he came off in Game 4. He was uncomfortable. He looked really uncomfortable. He looked uncomfortable at times too. He's been solid. He's getting some garbage points. I think he's a guy that if you're not going to use him as a focal point, they've never really used him as a focal point in their offense. He's not a guy off the bench. I would trade him if you're not going to use him that way.
It kind
All right,
of,
last word,
to
Dan.
me, it depends who they're playing.
Yeah.
In this
Matchups.
matchup, Monroe's the big guy who they have to deal with. Monroe's coming off the bench, and Monroe was killing them in the first 3 games while Valančiūnas wasn't playing. If you go up against a team that's generally small ball like Milwaukee, then yeah, Valančiūnas is good coming off the bench. But if you're going to go up against a team with bigs like, say, Cleveland, and you have to deal with some Tristan Thompson in the start of the game, then maybe Valančiūnas is better
But
as a starter.
Ibaka could go up against Tristan.
That is true.
All right,
right.
all right, we got to wrap up segment 1. Finishing off
That's
talking
good.
Raptors brand basketball. They are up 3-2. Thursday night is Game 6. Of course, that will be in Milwaukee. But do remember,
Raps in
Jurassic
6.
Park
Raps
popping
in
off.
6.
Oh, you start popping junk
Raps
too
in
now?
6.
Yep, Jurassic Park still popping off. I'll be out there with the Mandem on my Torontonians. The mayor was in the house. Shouts out to Mayor Tory. We'll be back breaking down Rockets, Thunder, so much more. Oh yeah, I'm hyped. I'm hyped for this. All right, Lego, more Hangout when we return. Hangout!